Okay, I know last time I said chapter 15, I meant to say chapter 14. So, yeah, this is the actual chapter 15. Chapter 15, finally back in Tempest. Rimiru and returned to Tempest with Milim by his side, Shinon and Ranga behind him while using dominant space. As they arrived back in Tempest, Rimiru walked into the city and saw most of his people and patrolling officers kneeling before him and creating a path for him to enter the city. He had no idea when they learned this, but he wasn't complaining. When he took Milim's hand and began to walk into the city, being followed by Shinon and Ranga. Rimiru looked up and saw Diablo and Vador approaching him. Diablo approached Rimiru and gave him a sincere smile. "Welcome back, Lord Rimiru." Valdor approached him as well, holding a manga. "Rimiru, how could you do this to me?" "What are you talking about, Valdor?" Rimiru asked, confused. "Don't act like that. Don't act like you don't know. You gave me this manga and left without the continuation." Valdor said, "Oh, that's right. I did that to him thinking it would be a funny thing. I didn't think he would react this way." Rimiru thought to himself. "Don't worry, Valdor. I'll give you the rest later," Rimiru said to him. He looked between himself and saw Shinon and Diablo having a heated debate about who was a better secretary for him. They get along just fine. "Lord Rimiru, you've returned." Rimiru looked at his front and saw Rigurd approaching him. He arrived and smiled at him. "How did it go, my lord?" "Well, I will brief everyone later. Right now, me and Milim are going to soak in the hot spring and rest." "Oh, so you and Milim are together now?" Rigurd asked. Rimiru smiled and looked at Milim. "Yes, we are, and I couldn't be happier." Milim blushed from that and smiled a small smile. Valdora looked at Milim with an expression of surprise. "I never thought that I would see the day when my niece would act so meek." Milim looked at Valdora with an embarrassed expression. "What are you talking about, you stupid Valdora?" "You are just as stupid as me, you know it, and you know it. I am not as bad as you, who was the one who blew up the small nation all because she couldn't find me during that game of hide and seek," Valdora asked her. "Oh yeah, then who was the one who blew away the town where Aunt Valgard's new garden was planted just because they couldn't do their homework?" Milim shouted. Both of them began to shout at each other like this, and before Rimiru and his subordinates knew what was happening, Milim, and Valdor were exchanging punches with each other. Rimiru sighed to himself before he got onto Valdor's side and took Milim's hand in his, which caused both of them to stop. Both of them stopped, and Rimiru looked at the two of them. "You two sure get along well. You two sure get along well." "Of course we do, Rimiru. After all, I helped raise her, you know," Valdora said in a proud voice. "Oh yeah, Valdora may be a pain sometimes, but he is a candidate to hang out with," Milim said. Nova. "I get the feeling that the reason Milim turned out the way she did is due to Valdora's influence," Rimiru thought. After that exchange, Rimiru took Milim to the hot spring, and both of them had a good soak in it. It was very awkward for Rimiru to be close to a naked Milim, but he hid his embarrassment pretty well. They enjoyed each other's company and talked for a while before leaving the hot spring. Once they left the hot spring, they arrived to the dining hall and ate delicious food that Haruna and prepared for them. After some time, Rimiru returned to his office. He went alone because Milim fell asleep after eating her food. He took her to his home and placed her in his bed before going to see Diablo in his office for the debriefing. "So," Rimiru began, "how did the mission go? Did you complete it, or do you need more resources?" Rimiru was back in his slime fort and sitting on Shinon's leg while listening to what Diablo had said. That won't be necessary, my lord. You see, the mission was a success. Everything is proceeding according to plan, Diablo answered him. Seriously? But you were back so early. I thought the mission would have taken longer to complete, Rimiru told him. It was no trouble at all, Lord Rimiru. I made the king of the Fulmination sign the conditions that I handed him. We will hear a reply from the around about a week or so from now. Diablo explained. What are these conditions? Rimiru asked. The first one is for the king to abdicate and the nation to pay the war reparations. The second is for the nation to surrender to us, become our vassal state. Ew. And last is that we should not. And the last, if we should decline, is that they should decline any way above the certain conditions. We will not hesitate to wipe them off the face of the earth. These are the conditions I charged them with. Diablo explained. How much did you ask for war, Dustin? Reparation? Rimiru asked him. 10,000 stellars. Rimiru answered him quite proudly. Rimiru had no word to describe how shocked he was at the moment. 10,000 stellars is the equivalent to 1 million gold. That is way too much, no matter how you look at it. If it was back home, 10,000 stellars would be equivalent to $10 billion. That is way too much money to demand. Isn't that a little too much to ask them? Rimiru asked. It is no problem, my lord. It may be true that I gave them 3 choices, but when you look at it, there is only one. Only one is the answer. The last 2 choices is not the value of but how they answer. The first is how we would begin to negotiate. Diablo explained. Rimiru explained his plans to Rimiru and how he plans to use their confusion as an opportunity to install Yamun as the new king of Falmouth. Rimiru listened to his plan and agreed, and both of them kept on talking and making plans. Sir Rimiru, the Western Holy Church has summoned one of my pawns, Rima, to their headquarters. I believe the reason is because they want him to explain what happened on the battlefield. Diablo told him. This would lead to trouble if we ignore it, Rimiru said. Yes, it would, sir. Yes, it would, sir. Should we have him explain the truth of what happened on the battlefield to them? Diablo asked. The Western Holy Church has a deep grudge against Valdor with my ascension to a true dragon and my appointment as a demon lord. Words will spread that two true dragons are residing in the Jor Forest. This will make them wary of us and might prompt them to make stupid decisions. With that Hinata being the leader of the Paladine, it will be difficult to negotiate with them, Rimiru explained. After thinking for some time, Rimiru had an idea. Give me a magical recording device we seized from Clayman, right? We seized some from Clayman, right? I will record a personal message with it and have Ram deliver it to the church and see how they will react. Splendid idea, my lord, Rimiru, Diablo asked. Diablo nodded. I will bring one over to you, my lord. Shinon ran out to bring me the device for me. Once Shinon returned with the device, Rimiru recorded some message on it and asked Diablo to take it to Rayhem for him to deliver to the Western Holy Church during his summon. After that, Rimiru went back home and saw Milim sleeping in his bed. He stared at her for a while, admiring her beautiful face. He remembered how Milim pleaded with her to allow her to follow him home for a day after the war plague ended. Flashback. Milim was holding on onto Frey's shoulder, looking at her with a pleading look. Frey, please, just let me spend one day with Rimiru and his nation. But Milim, you have huge responsibility to handle. With my nation and Carrion's nation now joining your own, you have to manage it as its new ruler, Frey explained. Please, Frey, if anyone will understand my feelings, then it's you, Milim told her. Frey knew what she meant. Milim finally got the person she loves more than anything to love her back. Of course, she wouldn't want to be away from him. She could understand because she too have such feelings. Looking at Milim, she smiled when she looks at Rimiru and seeing the love he shows her, and she couldn't help but feel a little envy in her heart. She wished that she was the one. She has the same courage that Milim has and confess her feelings to the one she loves. She gave a slight glance at Carrion before looking at Milim. Okay, you can go, but you have to promise me to make that you return tomorrow, no matter what. Understand? Milim eagerly nodded before going to Rimiru and hugging him. Frey could see the love that both of them had for each other as they hugged. She sighed and turned to Carrion. Let's go, we have a lot of work ahead of us, she told him. Don't worry yourself about it. I know that I have your back no matter the situation, Carrion told her with a charming smile. Frey blushed and looked away from him while muttering, Baka. Flashback end. Rimiru smiled at the memory. He lay down next to Milim in his human form. As if sensing him, Milim turned and wrapped her arms around him while placing her head on his chest. Rimiru was caught off guard for a moment, but he had a smile and he kissed Milim's forehead. I love you so much. I don't know what the future may have in store for us. But with you by my side, we will overcome any obstacle in our path. I know I will love you too. Whatever happens, we will be together forever, Milim muttered in his chest. Rimiru, hearing what she said, smiled and tightened his hold on her before both of them fell asleep. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe today to become one of my domestic listeners. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.